Welcome back to another exciting episode of Amanda Forrow's Experience of Life. Today we are still in COVID lockdown. Amanda, I've noticed a number of bulletins and WhatsApps and messages and news things circulating that go on and on about hidden agendas of the government and what will happen to the value of property now, and if it's extended, then the impact on the economy and how the GDP is plummeting and Moody rating, and people seem to be really
slashing
exactly. But it seems to me that people find lots and lots of evidence to prove a message of fear and death and damnation. And I'm just hoping that you'd be able to access your resources and sources to help us navigate through that. So can we have today's episode about how practically we should be thinking about things, what the spiritual aspects are, what the real fight is, and any kind of guidance that you and your team can give us?
Certainly. The most important thing, I think, is not to buy into the fear. You have two choices on this planet. It's that easy. You can live in love, you can live in fear. Every conversation you have with somebody, every argument is based in either love or fear. And if you think about that later, you'll see what I mean, especially in an argument. If your mother used to argue with you about how you couldn't do something, most of the time it was out of love for you because she didn't want you to get hurt. If we can keep it as simple as that, there's either love or fear. So people are fear-mongering about cuck they don't even know is going to happen. And if there's one thing we can be absolutely sure of is who expected this? I mean, I know spiritually about the event that is going to happen in 2020. And I was warned about it, but not the details like this. So what Big K says to me all the time is, as soon as you're falling into fear, and you can feel yourself doing it, is to just go, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go into the knee-jerk reaction. I'm going to try and look at this as comfortably and as objectively as possible. Does this person, A, speak the truth, whoever narrative you're reading? Are they coming from a place of fear or a place of love, what they're telling you? There's all those things that you need to start doing if you want to get yourself out of fear and go into a position of love. So spiritually, you will always find yourself going into love. If you sit quietly, you go into nature. Nature's the best place to clear ourselves of all these negative energies, because that's what it is. It becomes a build-up from the media, and everywhere we look, we are controlled to think in a particular way that suits somebody else's agenda. And that has been the way since we started. But as spiritual beings, and we all are, it doesn't matter who you are actually a metaphysical being. So you have the capacity to change that, to change your thoughts and to think positively. So you don't know what's going to happen next week. What if it's amazing? What if they announce next week that we have free energy that's completely, got no pollutants in it? It will change the whole world, because that's definitely going to happen. These are all things being promised. There's so many good things. And also what she's showing me very strongly is people sitting at the back of a dungeon almost with that, no, I'll be all right here, leave me here. And spirit is holding its hand out, showing you the light, saying, just walk with me this way, as I'm doing now. Walk with me this way. Listen to something different. Take yourself out of that dungeon. But most people say, no, I'm very comfortable here, even though they're miserable. And the thing of believing that it's going to be worse. What about if it's going to be a lot better? So yet again, look on the positive side of things. And until you can 100% guarantee, and I don't think there are guarantees. Yes, there's going to be a fallout about this, but it might be a fall in as well. The thing is that I know that we are also helped along by so many different energies. There are literally millions of different energies helping us, legions of angels. If you want angels, you can have them. You need to call them. You need to believe that they are there for you. So belief is a huge thing. You've got to believe it. Now, for me, I would rather believe that, and I've done this all my life, that when I make that decision to do something, it's going to turn out well for me. And funny enough, it always has. Apart from 2 marriages, but let's not go down there. Because those were lessons I needed to learn. So back on it now and go, yes, I needed to learn that. And I also stepped into my own sovereignty, as it were, of believing in myself and not feeling that I needed somebody else to feed off all the time, that I could do this by myself. Taking a leap of faith is exactly the same as living in love and not in fear. Very easy to live in fear. And all it does is drag you down. You will never get out of it. And the only person who can bring you out of it is yourself and spirit. Obviously, that's why they're there. Your guides are always asking you to think more positively, expand your consciousness to a different way of looking at something so that you are not taken into this fear place where the powers that shouldn't be would rather you are.
If I'm comfortable in my little dungeon and I'm warm and cozy and I'm in a familiar space, why should I take the chance and step out and follow the unknown? What is the significance to me or the benefit to me?
Unless you change something in your life, nothing's going to change. So what spirit does is you might have got to a place where you feel you're comfortable, but you're certainly not living your potential. You're not living everything that you can be. And there are some people, I'm sure, that feel that they're, nothing could change their world. But look what this did. This has changed every single person's world. Whether they're very rich, very whatever, very poor, it's changed everybody's world. So something will come along from spirit to nudge you and keep nudging you. And if you don't move, then this bloody great whammy comes, like we're having now, to make people go like that and go, oh, okay. Because thinking that we want to go back to normal is wrong, because it wasn't a good normal for most people.
Right.
99% of people are unhappy, are enslaved, in debt, doing jobs they don't like, not living their best life. There's very few people that are living the best life. And what this jolt to the whole world is doing is recalibrating us to look at things differently and let go of the past. And unless you let go of the past, you will sit in that dungeon forever. Just keep going round and round and round with the same problems. So change is scary for everybody. It's just as scary for me. But I do know that once you believe in yourself and believe that there is a better plan for you, you expand yourself and you start feeling, oh, well, I didn't. Because if you think about where you started to where you are now, you had to take a series of chances.
Yeah, absolutely. And as you say, sometimes it's not of your own volition that you shift. So you do sometimes end up having a shock or a breakup or an accident. And my question is, that spirit's question is, why wait for a wake-up call? Why not proactively seek your wake-up calls? So this COVID-19 virus has given us all an opportunity to reset our lives. and think
Yeah.
about things in different ways and raise our consciousness. What is that about?
It's about the way we interact with other people. It's about our spirituality. The reason that we've had such a hard reset, a hard reboot, is because people are drained. They're tired. Their souls are, they're sort of almost, I can see them, it's just this heap of humanity who's been knocked back time and time again, and they're not living any of their dreams. You know, that salaries are the thieves of dreams. You know what I mean? So the reason we've had to have such a hard reboot is because a lot of us have woken up. And what we're doing now is we're trying to give an opportunity to those who are still stuck in an unhealthy, unhappy life to actually join us into a different way of thinking. And the energy on the planet has changed. New energies are coming in. That's why time feels like it's speeding up so much. Because in the old days, we felt we had hours and hours and hours. Now you look around and the day's gone, like that. So whether people believe it or not, time has speeded up. We have speeded up with our consciousness. And we're just giving an opportunity to those people who are still stuck in their fear to put the down, put the baggage down, and just say, okay, I'm going to think differently for a week. I'm just going to think positively. I'm not going to get drawn into negative conversations. I'm not going to sit and watch the news all the time. I'm not going to sit on Facebook or whatever, writing negative stuff. I'm going to be totally positive for a week. And it literally changes your life. What goes in here, what you feed into your mind, it's like a computer. What comes out is your printout. It's your screen. What goes in here is going to become your screen.
So if we were then to allow ourselves to become positive and just focus on the positive and not watch the news and step away a little bit from average humanity, what will that do to our energy? What will that do to our consciousness?
Well, it stops dragging you down, because anything fear-based makes you feel heavy. When we talk about becoming enlightened, we are lightening ourselves. It's like if you and I laugh and laugh and laugh, as we do sometimes, we always feel lighter afterwards, because we haven't taken it so seriously. We haven't forgotten anything that's happened, but we're just not carrying it with us all the time. And the more you can put things down, leave them in the past, say, okay, I don't want to look at that anymore. I don't want that to become my signature. Hello there, my darling dog. I want to be a different, lighter me. And Spirit's always saying to me, and they say why they chose me for this job, is because when I'm sitting with my clients, we do laugh. I have a sense of humor, and so did they. And we forget, we get all sort of bogged down in heaviness. Spirituality, there's no heaviness. It should be, and they shout it from the rafters, lighten up, people, lighten up. This is supposed to be about finding joy. And if you can find joy in this situation, you've done it. You've woken up. You've started understanding that what you put into your life, you get back. You don't have to save the world. Nobody's expecting you to save the world. I always look at it like this. When I open my eyes in the morning, whatever I see is what I've created. So that's for me to deal with. Not what's happening in Afghanistan or India or whatever. What am I going to deal with today to fill myself up and make myself a more expansive person, that I can then have filled myself up enough to pour out to somebody else. If we are the jug, we need to keep filling it up before we give out to other people.
Let's talk about joy and love and lightness. You also said the word enlightenment. So pull those together for us.
Enlightenment is when you get a deeper understanding of why we're here, that we're not here just to work all our lives, be in debt, and die. There's so much more to it than that, even though that was the indoctrination we were given.
Yeah.
And you'll see over the years that we've been on this planet, how much we've changed, how we keep evolving, and we keep getting more time to do things and to enjoy ourselves and to read about and learn about. There are so many wonderful writers who have processed so beautiful energy and messages from up there, the gods, the whoever you want to call them, the creator. And there are so many wonderful things for us to spend time thinking about. I drag ourselves down to thinking about misery and lack when we're in a world that has such abundance. If you can take yourself out of your dark thoughts, that's what happens with depression. People they buy into fear so much that they live in the past. They get depressed about things happened to them when they were a child and what happened in their marriages or their relationships or with their parents or whatever. And we've all had that. I've lived through more than most, but I just didn't want that to define me. I didn't want to think about it all the time. I want to focus on beautiful things. And the more I focused on these things, the more I surrounded myself with the things that matter to me, which is nature and happy people. Nobody wants to be around Debbie Downer, who's always moaning all the time. It's a great place to start, is to look at yourself and stop blaming everybody else for where you find yourself, because you put yourself in those situations. You were the one that allowed yourself. I married these people. I allowed myself to be in these situations, and the only person who could stop it was me.
In this time now, we've got the opportunity to investigate all of those things and take responsibility for our own joy and our own positivity and our own raising of our vibrations through doing that. I'm interested to know what Big K has been saying through your work with your clients at this time in that context.
She always says never fear, and that if we can take away the big fear and concentrate on what is going on in their lives. So I find that that's the basis, that's their base note of where their issues are. If I can get them to sort out their structure, their grounding, then, so, I mean, I have somebody who's sitting in a really difficult position at the moment with a husband who's very mean to her, and she's in lockdown, and it's very hard, and I worry about her a lot. But the strength that she has gained from our talks and our sessions, I know that Spirit has given her that situation because she wasn't going to learn it any other way. She would just let it go on. And she would have suddenly turned around one day and been 75 and thought, I just wasted the last years of my life when I could have changed it.
You're saying that the guidance that you're receiving from your guides is that this lockdown is a lovely opportunity for us all to reset, step away from the fear, focus on the joy and the positivity, get grounded, step out into nature, enjoy your beasts, like your dogs and cats, raise our energy vibrations and focus on the learning that we're going throughout lockdown, whether it's a bad situation or a good. Practically, you're saying, don't immerse yourself in the fear-mongering and all the news and all the rubbish. Focus on and absorb and allow the energy that is coming in around us that is amazing and wonderful. Well, I think that's a lovely lesson, Amanda. Thank you. I can see you have much more to tell. So let's close today's vignette on that note for now, and we'll talk next time about what enlightenment means and what the Great Awakening could be. See you then.
Thank you.